Coming up on Mountain News at 6, officials with the National Weather Service survey damage caused by Tuesday's severe weather. Plus, in the wake of at least 70 miners being trapped following an earthquake in Taiwan, we hear from the director of the Kentucky Division of Mine Safety about the steps they take when emergency situations happen.
And a freeze watch is in place for Friday night. The latest on your chilly forecast coming up as Mountain News at 6 starts now.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 6.
Officials with the National Weather Service in Jackson are continuing to survey areas hit by Tuesday's storms. That includes parts of Whitley County around the Bee Creek and Devils Creek areas. WYMT's RJ Johnson has more.
As storms left behind broken trees, damaged homes, and more, meteorologist Ed Ray with the National Weather Service says they are piecing together what exactly happened.
So we can kind of see what direction everything's moving and all the damage, the points where, the track of where the damage went, things like that, to help us make the best determination that we can.
With some of that damage here in Whitley County, you can see behind me, the roof of a barn is now in the trees.
I think the worst part is seeing the damage. This disrupts people's homes and their lives, and it's never easy.
Ray says there were some things that caught interest while assessing the damage.
How well a structure's made. We're looking at the damage actually done, things like that. And all this information goes into, believe it or not, a program that helps us determine wind speeds and things like that.
He says before they determine what caused the damage in the area, they need to have all of the details.
It's like when you're putting together a puzzle, you'll make sure you have all the pieces. You really don't know what happened until you can get all or as many of the pieces together as you can, and then you just make your best judgment.
In Whitley County, RJ Johnson, WYMT Mountain News.
Ray says they are still reaching out to eyewitnesses of the storm and collecting data and will work to come to a conclusion. Earlier today, officials with Kentucky Power provided an update about electricity being restored. As of 10 a.m., around 1,840 customers were without power, with many of those being in Boyd County. Some in Carter, Lawrence, and Greenup continue to be without power as well. Officials say more than 85% of customers have been restored following Tuesday's severe weather. Yesterday at 6, we told you about the National Weather Service confirming at least 7 tornadoes in Kentucky. Well, that number has now increased today to at least 12 and could still go higher. That was part of what was mentioned in Governor Beshear's Team Kentucky update today. All tornadoes were confirmed as EF1s except for one in Boyd County, and that county actually experienced 2 tornadoes. The governor also talked about signing several bills today and why he also vetoed a few. A Pulaski County man admitted to faking his death to avoid paying child support. 39-year-old Jesse Kipp pleaded guilty to computer fraud and aggravated identity theft. In 2023, Kipp used a computer to access the Hawaii death registry system, where he created a fake death certificate for himself. His plea document says he did this to avoid paying child support fees of more than $100,000. Kipp owes more than $200,000 to the various agencies he wronged. 3 people are behind bars after police found drugs and cash on them in Harlan County. Police received complaints of possible drug activity in the Maston Drive area of Cumberland yesterday. After officers noticed activity going on around a truck, they asked if they could search inside. Several controlled substances and more than $1,000 was seized. Christy Howard, Michael Johnson, and William Collins were taken to the Harlan County Detention Center.
We are gloomy and cool on this Thursday evening across the region. Up on First Alert Pinpoint Doppler, also tracking a few hit or miss rain or sleet showers as well. Not going to rain all evening long, but go ahead and grab the umbrella if you have those plans for this Thursday evening. Watching out for a few showers close to Paintsville, also close to Inez, pushing into parts of eastern Pike County as well, and a few more light sprinkles close to London, pushing into Clay County, also for people in eastern Knox County at this hour as well. A live look from the WYMT WYMT studios. We are overcast, also chilly on this Thursday. We should be in the middle 60s. Most of us right now in the middle 40s, up to 45 in Hazard, 43 in Pikeville, 46 over in Somerset, and 47 for Manchester, Monticello. Also in Harlan and Middlesboro at this hour. As we go into tonight, some more cool weather is on the way. Lows in the middle to upper 30s to wake up and walk out the door by Friday. And most of us see some below freezing weather by Friday night. More details on that, plus your weekend forecast coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
Cameron, thank you. Rescue missions continue in Taiwan following the largest earthquake in that nation's recent history. Several are dead and hundreds are injured following the earthquake. Crews continue rescue missions, including inside mines. Officials say dozens of miners are trapped but are believed to be alive. Now, there have been rescue operations, of course, here in Kentucky for miners in the past. WYMT's Chandler Wilcox talked to the Division of Mine Safety Director about proactive and reactive steps they take when faced with similar emergencies.
Director Tim Fugit says the first step to rescuing a trapped miner is getting oxygen to them.
Miners will go in by that fresh air base under oxygen wearing a rebreather apparatus, and they'll work in 1,000 feet at a time while they're exploring all the entries trying to find miners.
There are also supplies miners can access in the event they are trapped.
There's also rescue chambers that has a supply of oxygen and equipment and actually has even food stored that they can get in until people can get to them.
Breaker there, you see turning right now. Fugit says it has been 2 years since the last death in a coal mine. Fugit is proud of their recent success.
Last year is the first calendar year in the history of mining in the state that we went without a fatality.
Fugit says they try to be proactive as opposed to reactive.
We do have mechanisms to be reactive, such as our inspections and our investigations. But our main focus is prevention, is to be proactive and try to prevent accidents from happening.
Hey, Rod. Officials conduct several annual inspections.
And underground, we do 6 inspections a year. That's 2 regular inspections, 1 electrical inspection, and then the other 3 can be alternated between inspections or mine safety analysis.
Fugit says those analyses include finding potential dangers while miners are working. In Hazard, Chandler Wilcox, WYMT Mountain News.
Tim Fugit also says most mines in the state are now in western Kentucky, but there are still operations here in eastern Kentucky. Communication is a vital part of the job for law enforcement. That's why state and local law enforcement agencies have spent the last few days working on how to better their presence in the media and in the community. The FBI's Law Enforcement Executive Development Association conducts this training, holding around 70 classes each year throughout the country. Officials receive lessons on branding, media relations, crisis communications, social media, and more.
Some of the folks have never had a chance to handle a very serious crisis. We do that here. We try to emulate that so that when they go back into their community, if they have something that happens, they've got a little bit of experience doing it.
FBI officials say when law enforcement promotes transparency by way of media interviews or news conferences, it shows the community that they can depend on and trust them. A Southern Kentucky EMT who died in a crash will be laid to rest this weekend. Chastity McWhorter worked for Somerset Pulaski County EMS. State police say he and a patient died when the ambulance they were in collided with a semi-truck. Another EMT was hurt. WYMT's Phil Pendleton has more on how McWhorter will be remembered.
A high school will host the final goodbye for a Southern Kentucky EMT on Saturday.
Our objective is to help honor him for his service, his service to the community, and for his sacrifice.
Chastity McWhorter had worked for a year and a half as an EMT in Somerset, but he had a big impact on many in such a short time.
He was part-time. Yeah, he was part-time with the service, but he worked. I mean, he fulfilled a lot of voids, knowing how the shortage of how EMS is and keeping staff, but I mean, he worked a lot. He helped out a lot.
The local EMS has received a lot of support from the community, and that was seen in a major way Tuesday as McWhorter made his final trip home.
I know the biggest thing, it probably broke me down. I was part of the procession coming in. There was a family, 2 little children They was sitting in Franklin County just waving their flags, these little girls, and it broke me down.
Chaston McCorder is known for valuing his family, but he wanted to pursue more in emergency medical services.
He really enjoyed his job, believed in what he did. He was studying to be a paramedic.
He loved this type of work, and it takes special people who want to do it, and he was one that did.
In Pulaski County, Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
The funeral will be at 2 o'clock Central Time Saturday at Clinton County High School in Albany. Visitation will be there after 4 Friday night, tomorrow night, and after 8 Saturday morning.
We are tracking some more spotty rain or sleet chances as we go into this evening, but some better weather is on the way. Your forecast coming up. Plus,
one landmark in Hazard receives national recognition.